I still remember the vibration of my phone that night, a buzzing sound that felt like it drilled straight into my bones. I was in my apartment, slumped on the couch after another 12-hour shift, half asleep, half dead, when the screen lit up in the darkness. The message came from my mother. Cold. Final. Mocking. We changed all the locks. You don't have a home anymore. Let's see how brave you are now. Haha. For a moment, my thumb hovered above the screen. I read it once, twice, 3 times. Each word cut deeper until my jaw clenched so tight it hurt. But I didn't reply. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. Instead, I smiled, not out of joy, but because they didn't realize the truth. Home wasn't theirs to take. I grew up in that house. Every nail in the walls, every patch of paint, every corner of that land carried my sweat. My father had used me like free labor since I was 14, painting, repairing, fixing roofs, mowing acres of land while my sister got to study and dream. He used to laugh and call me the son he never had. My mother would smirk, pretending it was affection, and I believed it because children believe anything when it comes from parents. As I grew older, I paid the bills, electric, gas, even their mortgage ones when Dad was short. I thought I was supporting family. They called it duty. But the truth? It was exploitation wrapped in the language of love. The shift came last year. Subtle at first. Conversations stopped when I entered the room. Whispers leaked through closed doors. My name vanished from family toasts. And then, one night, I walked past the kitchen and froze. My mother's voice. The deeds are in our name. He doesn't realize that. My heart hammered against my ribs, but my face betrayed nothing. In that moment, I understood. They weren't planning to share. They were planning to erase me. So, I didn't confront. I didn't argue. Instead, I started studying. Property law. Ownership rights. My father's sloppy record-keeping became my weapon. The bills I paid, the transfers from my account, the renovations under my name. I documented everything. Every receipt was sharpened into a blade. So when that message came, when my own mother tried to lock me out of the house I had kept standing, my decision was already made. At dawn, I called my lawyer. File the petition, I said, my voice steady. He didn't ask what I meant, he knew. We had been preparing for months. 2 days later, their lawyer emailed me in panic. We have a problem. Call immediately. Of course they had a problem. Their iron cage of control had cracks, and I had turned them into a fracture. I didn't call. I waited. The confrontation came the following week in a sterile mediation office. They walked in first, my father red-faced, my mother smug, my sister silent but hungry for drama. I didn't look at them. Instead, I laid a folder on the table. My lawyer slid it forward. Inside, proof. Every payment, every transfer, every repair under my name. Thousands upon. Thousands. Enough to establish equitable ownership. Enough to prove fraud. My father flipped through the pages, his smirk collapsing with every turn. My mother tried to speak, but her voice cracked, breaking under the weight of exposed lies. My sister's eyes darted wide, realizing she wasn't the favored child after all, just a pawn in their game. Finally, my lawyer spoke, calm, precise. My client isn't asking for repayment. He's asking for the property. Silence. Thick, suffocating silence. I watched their faces as the weight sank in. The house, their fortress, their kingdom, their weapon, was slipping through their grip like sand. Weeks later, when the judge signed the order, I stood outside the courthouse with the keys in my hand. My keys. Not because they gave them to me, but because the law had. Because I had turned their greed against them. The first thing I did wasn't to move back in. That house was poisoned by memory, haunted by betrayal. Instead, I sold it, and at a profit. With that money, I bought a smaller place. Quiet, clean, mine. They still send messages sometimes. My father tries guilt. After everything we gave you. My mother spits venom. You'll regret this when you're alone. But regret isn't in my vocabulary anymore. Because when they locked me out, they thought they had stolen my future. What they really did was hand me the match, and I burned their illusion to the ground. And now, when I sit in my new living room sipping coffee in perfect silence, I smile. I smile because the locks they changed don't matter. I smile because the house they tried to keep is no longer theirs. And I smile because the message that was meant to break me became the final proof of their betrayal. They wanted me homeless. Instead, I left them powerless.